I believe he was the same person. Beginning of the article on the the hexameric kilo cases in regards to the ATP synthase, which of course, all of these examples that you get of the ATP synthase or the evolution of most of these machines or a change in both the genus comes down to some sort of homology or genetic difference. There's usually no demonstration or test in the lab of any of these mechanisms of producing any of these systems. But who knows, maybe somebody will bring that up here tonight while they come in. Charlie Reed. Of course, Charlie Reed is in the comment section. My #1 fan, right? What's the point in this when you refuse to answer questions? Do you think it walks like a duck, barks like a duck? There's a scientific method for asserting whether it's actually a duck. I don't think it's just a lighter thought. A thought that people should really try to reasoning behind intelligent design and compare it to evolution. And it's up, Jesus Lord. I enjoyed your input the other day when you came into my room. I hope I can see you into more of these rooms more often, man. But this is one thing that I was hoping to get a little bit more into. And hopefully we can try to, because I know people are getting tired of hearing the same old arguments about design. So I want to hopefully try to hone it into my religious beliefs and why it is that I believe what I believe. It's just that it seems like evolutionists are very much so hard pressed to either misrepresent my stances or or to maybe slander me as a person or something like that, rather than trying to deal with my arguments, play games, and to try to figure out a way to smother it out. You know what I'm trying to say? I think the reason why evolutionists and atheists are so hard pressed to do so, and it's not only me, it's people like Nathan, it's people like Veckel and other brothers in the community, because sometimes we say things that they don't want to hear. And I think when it comes to the intelligent design argument, it's such a powerful argument, and it's an empirical argument. So it sort of hits them right where they thought that they were safe. Science. There's this mentality here in the community to where atheists tend to believe that it's science versus religion. And when you get an empirical line of thought, like intelligent design, and we simply try to be humble about it and not include our religious beliefs, it's just to see, there's no evidence for creation. They don't really know how to deal with that. We really can't get past the fact of creation, so that we can finally make it to our personal religious beliefs and to see whether or not those beliefs are justified. And hopefully we can get into that. I very much would like to discuss this with people to see whether or not my religious beliefs are justified. Because it's very clear that the argument of intelligent design isn't capable of being refuted. It doesn't seem to be able to be refuted. It doesn't matter if you talk to scientists or laymen. They run into people like Dr. Tsai or other biologists who will tell you the same thing. They have, this theory's got problems, and that his own words, that if we were in another discussion, he would actually be in agreement with me. Or you run into laymen like Emperor Atheist, or pick a really any guy debated before him regarding this topic, and they just parrot the same anti design rhetoric that just really fails under scrutiny. So maybe here tonight, if you guys want to come in, I'll be chilling here for about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. I don't want to be too long here. We can get a little bit more into the religious aspect of things. I'm still looking for more debates with people. I want to make sure that I'm getting into more structured debates over this topic, because what I'm hoping to do is shotgun a lot of debates over intelligent design. That way, whenever people search the design topic and they listen to what I say and they listen to what the opponents say, I think they'll, 9 times out of 10, they're going to hear that it's far more reasonable, far more logical to hold to my position in design rather than to reject it.
Okay, bro. All right.
I'm not going to cut myself short. 10.
So that's cool, man. That is awesome. That is so cool. Shot some dirt baits. I love me some dirt baits, man. I love them. It keeps me entertained. So give me a second. I figured I'd let y'all listen to a little bit of that. Yes, this is the Saxident shirt. It's pretty okay feeling outside, so I'm gonna walk. So as I'm walking, as you see the title, Walkie-Rantie. So, and no, I'm not running behind. I usually leave at 12:30 because the class is at 1, so I'm leaving early so I have more time. And I can take my time. That's why I took a bath earlier. Okay. So no, I almost forgot. I knew I was forgetting something. I knew it. There we go. Frozen water. Right, why is it frozen? Because I like cold water. And it's, if you ever seen me drink anything, any liquid, I drink it fast as shit. So to slow myself down, I freeze my drinks. It's a little trick. All right. These shoes on. Oh, man. Yeah, no, I won't get arrested for walking while black. Luckily, the police around here already know me. It also helps I have a cousin in the local police force, too. So, yeah. Shouldn't have to do all that, but, you know, precautions. Anyway. And Drag said, let there be light. See how that works? So cool. Woo! Oh, God. Okay. Might help if I don't have my hand over it. Okay. All right. So, listen to a little bit of that, and I'm not going to listen to the rest of it. Probably, I'm not gonna lie. I'm getting back to these videos, and it's like, really. So, let me respond to a bit. Get my thoughts together first, because a couple of us off air have just casual conversations, you know, about normal stuff, family, work, school, that sort of thing. But kind of interspersed in those conversations are the, I don't know, banter about some of these folks. And it never fails. I don't think there's been a month that has gone by that we have not talked about folks like personal dysfunction that leads them into spending enormous amounts of time thinking that they're actually doing something. So, well, Drag, what the fuck are you talking about? That fits a lot of people. Yes, I know, that fits a lot of people. I'm not necessarily precluded from that my damn self, just to be fair. But something, and I'm probably going to go back. I'm probably going to sit down and listen very carefully to what Ronnie is trying to do now, because that was actually a recent conversation that Sam and I had, and me and another person on here who will not be named. That, you know, like, what's the goal? What are they actually doing? What is the end game? Because one of the things that True has said, and to be fair, you know, yes, things do get personal. I think he takes some of my comments a little bit personally, and he probably shouldn't. Like, when I'm trying to hurt his feelings, I think he knows, but little comments here and there. I'll talk shit about the people I like, so I mean, talk shit about my little brothers. Get over it. Anyway, the real shit is that he was upset that people just kind of, you know, discard him and Neffy, and there was someone else. Standing for Truth, I think, is. I'm sorry. I try to sometimes slip into the minds of some of these folks, and it's funny to me because I can't bullshit myself enough to really do that. I really can't. I do try. I can't imagine what it's like to have these inferiority complexes and to want to have the prestige of, you know, big name scientist here, because actually being on that path is satisfying enough. Maybe it's just me, but it seems as though, and I found it interesting that True would call Emperor Atheist a layman. Like, really, honey? Really, sweetness? You calling somebody else a layman? Come on, man. Fucking Google Scholar there. But that's fine. That's fine. He wants to have some more dirt baits with folks and more structured ones. But I seem to remember the last time he did this with somebody, hyped this shit up for a week, put it off because he wanted to have the debate on his lunch break on his phone. They said, no, take your goddamn time, all right? It's no rush. People have been waiting to see this. This is your opportunity to show your stuff. And so this is, I'm not even going to get into the critique of his position, you know, itself. I'm just going to get into the history, since we like talking about setting precedents. And people who support True, y'all can bring this up to him. When he was going up against McRae, and McRae brought out this fucking PowerPoint, which was overkill, was fine. He actually put effort into it. He actually contacted folks to try and look over it. I was one of them. Fine. He was given a week extension to come up with something because the time that he had originally set was inconvenient for him. Now, why would you set up a time that's inconvenient for yourself? I have no idea, but him and time management don't seem to go hand in hand. I've just kind of learned that. Look, we all have our flaws, fine. He was given a week extension. He has all the time in the world to come up with a PowerPoint. Cool. If you go back and watch that dirt bait, didn't even have anything. He had the same tired, droll arguments that he's been having. He doesn't have actual evidence to support his claims. He has more claims to support the previous claims. And then when pressed actually, on what your evidence is, he goes cause and effect. Wow. For something he keeps claiming that's empirically based and empirically founded, he sure as well slipped into something that ain't so empirical. Maybe he has a different definition than I thought of. Maybe I need to go check my understanding. Cause and motherfucking effect. When tasked to make his argument as succinct as possible, to provide everything it needs to fulfill the rigors of going through the scientific method, he can't do it. Even when it was a debate between him and Ned, when Ned did something very unconventional, he granted him everything. Every goddamn thing. If you've not seen that, by the way, please do. Negation of P. Feel free to someone to link the channel. Or in the video, as a matter of fact. Ned gave him everything. I was like, Ned, what are you doing? What are you doing? It's not a part of the plan. Ned said, no, I got it. And it was beautiful. You heard me probably mention this before. But actually, yeah, I think I mentioned it last night. But Ned granted this man everything. And there was no step two. He was so used to just trying to counter the refutations that he can't actually bring someone over to his side. But what he does do is something that you learn not to do your first year of, you know, any community college that you can go to learn physics, science, you know, whatever, physics, biology, whatever, they're both science, is that what's intuitive to you isn't always right. And that's something that he's still not understanding. When you're listening to a little bit of his, you know, I guess, a mini monologue, he runs out of steam pretty quick, which, fair enough. But he isn't relying on people to see evidence. Pay very close attention to what he thinks is going to get people onto his side. Pay very close attention to the wording. I'm not saying this to be a dick. You really do need to pay attention to it because it's kind of incoherent. But what you can ascertain is that he thinks because his argument is intuitive, that it's right. And that people will be convinced. Think about that for a second. Now, there are tons of things that are counterintuitive. The more you get into physics, the less intuitive things get. I mean, hell, that's just the very nature of our universe. Universe isn't geared towards our intuition. We have to gear our intuition toward the universe. There are lots of things that we see on a macro level that really don't exist on the microscopic level. Vice versa. So, assuming that whatever you learn in science is going to be intuitive is a fool's folly. This is something he's been told before, folks. But since he doesn't take the time to actually understand how science is conducted, he's going to keep repeating the same wrong stuff as Neffy did. Speaking of Neff, this guy that he's touting, him and a few others, only recently, a few years ago, stopped saying that DNA was made out of amino acids. Now, you don't have to know a whole hell lot about biology, folks, but some of y'all know what DNA is motherfucking made of. It ain't amino acids. What he was probably thinking of was proteins. But Neff can never be corrected, so he kept saying the wrong thing until he finally realized he was wrong. And I mean dead dog wrong. Again, people misspeak. It happens. But taking some time to think about it, go, oh, whoops, I was thinking about proteins. Y'all know I meant nitrogenous motherfuckers. He's not going to say that because he's not cool, but you get the point. So, she wants to toss his hat into the ring and have some more dirt baits. Just fine, I encourage him. Gonna give me more material and everybody else some laughs for a few reasons. Y'all gonna have to excuse the wind. It's a nice windy day. Waiting for cars to pass. I hope that he does continue, because I want to see this whole ID thing fleshed out. I would love to see it, and not him defer to what he thinks will be convincing and have it comport to actual science. Sorry, it doesn't. Maybe one day he'll learn the difference between deferring to a scientific consensus and an appeal to authority. Him mentioning Behe every 2 seconds, you know, but then Behe is a biochemist, so I'm not sure why Behe keeps coming up in evolution discussions. Well, he keeps coming up because he has an opinion about a topic that's not even his field, but okay, fine. Awesome. So, our good friend wants to get the message out there. When people search, he wants those algorithms, the glorious algorithms, to say what he wants it to say. He wants to show that he is out there fighting a good fight, the designed argument of intelligence arguments. Thing, claim, thing, the jigger, widget. Okay, fine, my dude. How about this? How about this, Drew? Because I know you're watching. You've been watching. How about you start small? All right? Build up to it. I'm not bullshitting you. Not at all. Start small. When I say start small, start from the scientific evidence. Drag, what do you mean? I've said cause and effect. Okay. Start from some literature. I mentioned this before, it keeps getting ignored. I don't know why, can't imagine why. But how about you and Neff and what's the cat? Standing and sitting and shitting and whoever else, other alt accounts that he has. I'll get all those little sock puppets and y'all sit around and y'all do a journal club. So sit down and educate us on what ID is without anybody sitting trying to refute it. Everybody take a turn. One of y'all wants to flesh out the observations and then go into the hypothesis. The next person discuss the, just I'm trying to be serious. I'm sorry. You know, describe like the methods and the materials, you know, get to somebody else do the conclusions and results. We'll look at some figures, because you know, it ain't good paper without some figures. Show us some of that math. Show us some of them tests. Or tests, as some of my family members say. I would love to see that. Because I keep hearing that ID is science. I keep hearing that it's just as worthy as anything else, especially, or more so than evolution. Cool. I can sit through and find papers upon papers upon papers upon studies upon papers on evolution any day of the week. What I can't find is a comprehensive peer-reviewed study on intelligent design. I don't know why. Well, maybe if True and his peers get together and they review something, that'll count, kinda. You know what? I'll count that. Just for shits and giggles, let's count that. Get together with your peers, True. Because me, Sam, CRISPR, Rational Mind, RSC, Doc Savage, we've done a few. We have done a few journal clubs. Some people tune into them, some people don't, but they're out there. They're there. But where are the powwows going on with scientific data that you guys claim exists for ID? I can't find it. I've tried to find it. I came into the hangout that True had open the other night. I think it was Friday night. Yeah, Friday night. I came in and it was Matthew. Yeah, Matthew Ecclesiastics. And True saying there was no evidence anywhere, no kind of studies on the origins of the bacterial flagellum. No. And within like 15 seconds, I found some. I remembered about, someone mentioning it. One of my old professors said, oh yeah, this is the one, back in 2006. Boom. All these years, y'all been wondering and didn't bother typing in the search terms of the question that you had posed to me. For some strange reason, you couldn't take the question and turn them into search terms. Like, I think the second link that came up on Google was what I found. Weird. Maybe my Google's different. Yeah, mine's different. Mine's Canadian. Why I use Canadian Google? Because it's more accurate, A. So, I don't know. I find this whole topic hilarious, and of course we're, beating this horse into the ground. It's already gone off to the glue factory and come back, eaten by a first grader, and then shit it out and turn back into compost to grow more food for the next horse. But fine, we'll repeat this process. But let's try and do something different, huh? If we want to stay away from the dramas, that's fine. But don't come up to folk with BS. And I'm not saying, no, I just think your argument's BS. No, approach it like you would if it was actual science. Let's try that. Be upset all you want. And in fact, if you want to have some fun, I have a list of folks who would love to have some conversations with some of your compatriots, Neffy and Standing, and some of these folks have been ducking me. I will be done with this semester about 2 weeks. I'll make some time. I'll open up some hangouts. Come bring your boys. Consider this a call out. Matter of fact, I'm just that confident. Just that confident. Bring Jill too, because Jill's been ducking me too. All your little buddies have been ducking me. I want to have some fun. You know who else wants to have some fun? I can't hog all the fun. You know what? How about I do something better? I'll shut the fuck up. There goes my monetization. I'm going to shut the fuck up. And I'll let other people come in. And they'll have a turn. They can come and pose questions, and I'll simply moderate it. Make sure it's fair, because I have my policy, just a tip. I'll institute just a tip. That's not a problem. It'll be a safe space. I'll make sure it's a safe space. A real safe space. Don't worry. Because I'm pretty sure you guys don't want to go on Talking Shit Tuesday and do it. Fair enough. I want to see this real science behind ID. I would love for one of you cats who love B17 to explain to me how, when you consume it, that an enzyme, rhodonase, does not turn it into thiocyanate, cyanide molecule with a thiol attached to it. But explain to me how that doesn't work. If I'm bullshit, look up what I'm saying. Very easy. Might be a reason I know that. Might actually do a little bit of research. Might have talked to a goddamn chemist too. Might have to 2, maybe 3. Who knows? Maybe somewhere in my travels I've been to, I don't know, some university or something like that, and there's a bunch of folks on staff that know these kind of things. Who knows? Might be in contact with a biochemist, and on G+, who knows? But whatever. Explain to me how that doesn't happen. I have so many questions. I have so many. What's the hypothesis for ID? Ooh, what the fuck is this? It's a kite string? What the hell is this? Tangle me up. What the fuck is this? Are they hanging themselves? It's a thin rope. Okay, I don't know what's going on with that. Almost fell. So, I have so many questions. I need answers. Why aren't there videos educating me? Because that's what I was told. Told that when you want to learn something, yeah, it is a kite. It was a kite. What retard got the kite stuck on the damn building? It's 80,000 feet long. It's a whole ass field out here. There's a whole motherfucking field out here. Y'all retarded. And litters. Coloring dynamic. Oh, is this one you can color on too? Someone paid a little bit of money for this. Idiots. So, I'm curious. I am genuinely curious. Explain. You know what? I have an early ear. Put that in the trash. And find a good place to sit down. Over here. I had to throw that away. That was bothering me. Nice, beautiful, brand new campus. Literally. Ugh. Okay, let me sit down. Let me outline what I want. Because let me see how much time I got. I got time. Ugh. That there. Maybe it'll stay. I don't know. I don't care. So, here's what I want. We have people in different fields, all at the ready. Matter of fact, biochemist is already and there's a goddamn kite too. I see that. Dumb motherfuckers. Whichever one of you cats loves B17. Matter of fact, you can go get Hoban. If you think that Hoban can explain the biochemical pathway that doesn't involve rhodonase turning amygdalin into thiocyanate, please explain it to me. Or if it does turn into thiocyanate, why doesn't it act like, I don't know, any, or not any, most molecules with, kind of that nitrile ion going on there, that does cyanide type thing. We'll say that. Please explain. I would love to. This is chemistry. This is True's baby. So I'm trying to say it with a straight face. But explain to me the mechanism, because I want to learn. I'm pretty sure Doc Savage wants to learn too, because why not, right? And if there's so many issues with evolution, well, I could have sworn that rational mind might know a little bit of something about that, just maybe. So we got somebody for that. So Dr. Lee, yes, Dr. Lee. So what else? Warning Good People is now hooked up with Nephew. Oh man, that's a powerhouse, man. That's a tag team. That is a tag team. He's gonna learn so much. As a matter of fact, that video that I was playing at the beginning, Jesus is Lord said something very interesting, folks. Some of y'all might remember me and a few others asking some of these guys a very pertinent question. What have y'all learned from True as far as science? Because you hear Jesus Lord clearly say that he's learned so much. But I just want to narrow specifically concerning actual science. I'm not talking about, ID. Just science, just something in general, because supposedly ID is supported by actual science, so he could tell me what he learned that's associated with ID. Is it something about anatomy and physiology? Is it something about molecular biology? What is it? What specifically have you learned? Because some of y'all might have not been around during that time, because and it was a fun game. No one could tell us anything. When G-Tard tried, he said that true empiricism taught him about hydraulics. If that doesn't tell you how good them skills are for teaching, I don't know what will. I don't have to say anything. He went into a conversation about biology and chemistry and came out learning about hydraulics. You can't get more fucked up than that. There's literally no joke that I can make. That is the joke. And then to make matters worse, you had homeboy repeating it too, and say, "Hey, you mean hydrolysis?" Yes, what I said, hydraulics. So, like, it had him repeating it for days. Couldn't even tell him that he was saying the wrong damn word. But it's funny because I'm not sure how he got hydrolysis and hydraulics mixed up. Maybe, I don't know. The endings of those words are kind of different, but they're both hydro, so same difference, right? But if you already know what hydraulics refers to, why not just say, well, what was that word again, True, that you use? He just didn't have sense and it was just, and I love reminiscing about this stuff because it's so funny. Didn't even have sense enough to go, before we go live, hey, here's what I'm going to talk about. Just because none of us would have known, right? No one knows what happens before you go on air, because a lot of us have kind of like a pregame before we go live, and we kind of talk and strategize a little bit depending on the hangout, just so we're all on the same page. We're all on the same sheet of music. We do it before TST, go over all the topics so everyone knows what's up. But he didn't have sense enough to do that. He made himself look really bad, especially as a teacher, because it's actually important, folks. It's very important. That's why a lot of us get on each other about being precise, because I can't be held to the same standard that True is held to. I'm held to a higher standard, and the reasoning is is obvious. I'm in a position, and actually been in a position, to instruct people in certain areas of science. Because at one point where I was getting paid to do that, mind you. So that's something I take very seriously, and misleading somebody that's trying to learn in earnest, that is a grave sin. That is, if there was ever a concept of sin that I could, I guess, abide by, that would be one of my biggest issues. And that's why I don't mind being corrected, even if I'm being imprecise, even just like, hey, actually it is this. And that's why it's not a mar against my image. It's okay, now I have a more refined understanding. But with these guys, it's not an issue of making sure people get the right information. It's a pride issue. It is, well, I have to appear as though I'm right at all times, and that's not true. And that's one of those conversations that we have, is that these guys they get so bent out of shape when they say something that's demonstrably fucking false, and somebody corrects them. You can still have your argument, but it's like, swallow a little bit of pride and say, look, here's what I meant to say. That's okay, fine, whatever. You might want to tighten that up, but whatever. Continue. Let somebody bust your balls a little bit and then move the fuck on. But they don't know how to do that. Neffy sure as hell didn't know how to do that. I've rarely seen this dude been able, he'll just make up shit. Just like with the enthalpy thing. And he learned about enthalpy in the hangout. Never heard of it in his life. had several things explained to him. And so his answer for at least three separate issues was an ice age, because that'll fix the enthalpy issue. So it's really bad. But when you think about it, these guys will never actually know how wrong they are, because they don't really possess enough education to understand how wrong they are. And that's, I think, one of the strengths of having people like promote pseudoscience and not step foot in in a university or in a private lab, private firm, because they'll never know. They won't be around people who are people of letters, people who, and I mean when I say around them, actually work side by side as colleagues or even as superior subordinate. It's not like they're going to actually be utilizing their knowledge in any way, shape, or form. And that's what I find hilarious about them saying that they want to kind of change people's perception. Well, there's lots of people who watch YouTube videos and become flat earthers. So if you want to be amongst the league of people who do that, that's fine by me. I don't want those type of people being science advocates anyway. I would want people who are at least somewhat knowledgeable and take at least a little bit of time to go over what the stuff actually is and have at least a cursory understanding. And just having mindless idiots repeat the same incorrect information really doesn't do anything. Nobody died from cancer. Yes, I do remember that. I do remember that, Doc Savage. That was good. That was good. That was a shocker. But it's bad when his buddies won't even address. Like, you bring that shit up, they'll pretend they didn't hear you, because they know that they can't say, yeah, I agree with that, because they'll sound absolutely fucking stupid. But they're not going to contradict him publicly, because they know what'll happen. I mean, they can say too, because they've heard me say this. No, y'all won't actually stand up to him, and I stand by that. When I say something and I point it out, that's when you go, oh no, I don't disagree with him, and then he'll give them room to disagree. He'll allow them to disagree. It's like, you can't be more, man. You could have been a fresh pane of glass covered in fucking Windex. You couldn't be more transparent. Like, come on. Come on. Some MRIs and you grab the desk corpse. Yeah. I want to see those cancer cells. I want to see them. Like, get the fuck out of here. How can you play the guitar and not tune it? Yeah, Holy, there's a few people who are there are a few people who are knowledgeable and skilled in the acoustic arts. I just made that up. And we're kind of wondering that, because that made the rounds. And y'all know Mrs. Drag plays guitar and shit like that too. So there's a couple of comments that I completely missed about the instruments that I have no fucking idea. I can't. I'm pretty sure you were supposed to tune that thing regularly, but I guess that's not on the agenda. I don't know. Grand bass, just not having. Yeah, get with Mrs. D Holy, because she's trying to spend more money on hobbies. So. Yeah, anyway, but it's like almost every other than dog breeding, it just seems like when he tries to get into an area or tackle a topic, it just seems like he's just kind of just flailing around. There's nothing that I can say that he does adeptly that would be more than the average person, because like I can dabble in 50,000 things and not have any type of mastery of one, just enough to like impress people with some jargon and have a few things here and there as props. Like I have that broken guitar that I can strum and pretend to be a guitar player too, but does that actually mean that I'm doing anything? No, not at all. So I sometimes ponder, in these few minutes or hours I'll have in between actually doing science or learning about it in some cases. I wonder what they're doing. Does anybody else do that? Does anybody else kind of like sit and wonder as you're going throughout your day? These guys who spend an enormous amount of time thinking that they're trying to change people, not the world, change us. changing people's perception, not changing the world. And I kind of wondered to myself that if they really felt this strongly about these things, why not go into these fields? Because every time we kind of bring it up, there's this, oh, well, people found out what I believe, then I wouldn't be able to get a PhD. Well, hold on for a second. The same people you try to defer to as advocates also have PhDs, so it's not impossible. Like you can't claim that there's a conspiracy, but then defer to the people who have somehow beaten the conspiracy. You can't have both of those. Like, I'm pretty sure no one really cared. Like, there's tons of people who are in PhD programs that have funky beliefs. My instructor is one of them, but previous instructor. But like, it's the excuses I love. So, nephew, why didn't you go to Ole Miss and pursue this stuff? Was it too later in life? Well, there's plenty of non-traditional learners, that go back to school, that spend time doing what they feel passionate about. So that's not an excuse. Is it that money is an issue? Well, if you're talking about doing creation stuff, I'm pretty sure there's some funding that you can find from creationist organizations so they can have more PhDs to the name. They really don't matter. Like they don't care about whether or not you're actually relevant to the field, as long as you have some type of credentials they can use you, because that's what they feel moves people. Fine. But why is it that the people, and I love this, I love Neff, and I love when True and a few others do this, those of y'all who don't do shit in science, or not even trying to pursue education or any type of credentialing, are the ones that chastise people who do and who are in the fields. That's what I always kind of wonder about. It's like, if you're chastising someone's, I don't know, I'm trying to not use military jargon, but your attack plan for a mission, and you've never stepped foot in any boot camp in any way, shape, or form. I don't get that. Someone please explain that to me. It's like, well, because he's complained before, him and others, about, well, you guys think that only scientists can talk about science. No, that's not the case. Anyone can talk about it. You can talk about things, and then you can talk about it knowledgeably or ignorantly. That's just you either know about the shit or you don't. You can kind of sort of know about it, but knowing a lot about it, having a comprehensive understanding is a lot better. So, I mean, that's kind of why we defer to people who are in the field and that can demonstrate the things that they're saying. That's kind of the whole purpose behind that. So you can't, be the idiot savant that's going toe to toe with PhD philosophers and and talk about solipsism. That's, I mean, you could, if you took the time. If you really took the time to study in earnest, you could do that, and it is very possible. There's plenty of people who are autodidacts. So I'm not. Okay, is that better? That's someone on Facebook trying to annoy me. But anyway, not anybody from here is family. Hold on, what is this? Pre-trib is I don't know what the fuck that means. I don't know who this guy. Oh, no, this is a Standing for Truth fanboy. Neff and Standing for Truth destroyed Jackson Wheat and RJ on 2v2 this weekend. It was brilliant. Oh, okay. Is it not working? I'm blocking that bitch. That's what I'm doing. Alright, since the stream is broken, y'all may not see this, so I'll catch y'all later.